Hello. This week's content is going to be focused on social issues. In the past few weeks, we've been focusing on environmental as we went through Climate Week and wrapped up Climate Week. So if we look at our social filter in the dashboard, we see that human capital is the top event type, and it's made up partly of positive and negative news for the last 14 days. If we filter just for human capital, we'll see that the main driver behind this volume is the strike for John Deere that started at midnight on Wednesday, and the strike for Kellogg that started a few weeks ago in early October. So both of these strikes were labor disputes where the union didn't approve of new contracts for the workers, and they want better benefits and wages than what the company's offering. If we look at a larger strikes and unions are the top topics for that. John Deere and Kellogg are the two of the top mentioned companies in the last 14 days. If we want to look at human capital in a bit of a bigger picture, we'll see that although mentions are down, the sentiment is some of the lowest we've seen since July, when the strike for Pepsi and Frito-Lay was winding down. We see the big dip in sentiment here in this latest week for human capital. So even though these two companies are striking, there's also a lot of other things happening for private companies. The film workers are on strike. There's healthcare companies that are facing strikes as well, and between these two companies, John Deere alone has 10,000 people on strike, and Kellogg has over 1,000 as well. But across America right now, there's 100,000 workers on strike across many different companies. And, even mainstream news outlets like BBC are labeling October this month Striketober in America. If we look at Kellogg, that has been going on. Their work stoppage has been going on a bit longer than John Deere. So there's more testimonials and more data from we have references here to the other strikes I was referencing. There's already been developments here where their management is bringing in temporary workers in Pennsylvania for Kellogg. This is going on across a couple different states here: Michigan, Pennsylvania, Nebraska, Tennessee. First time the company's workers have gone on strike since 1972. If we look at John Deere's strike, this is the largest strike America has seen since 2 years ago when General Motors workers went on strike. Both of these strikes were backed by the Union for Auto Workers. The Union for Auto Workers is actually going to be paying all of these employees on strike pay, and said they're going to be offering Christmas bonuses and Thanksgiving bonuses as well, giving us an idea of how long they expect this to go on for. By them announcing that, they're indicating that this strike is going to go on for at least a few months. For context, the General Motors strike went on for about 6 weeks until the Auto Workers Union came up with a new deal. And this comes at a really inopportune time for John Deere. They've been forecasting higher sales and higher demand, so they're really relying on the employees here for production to get those orders out. And it gives the employees, not just at John Deere, but across all companies, with the supply chain squeeze that's constantly in the news. It gives gives them more bargaining power. So since COVID, we've seen a lot of pro-union sentiment from the Biden administration, as well as you know organizers on the ground with the Amazon union vote that happened back in March. Some other industries are talking about unionizing, while other industries are offering higher wages. Especially restaurant industry was propping wages up earlier this year and over the summer to try and get employees to come back to work. So there seems to be kind of like a shift here that we're picking up where employees and labor is having increasing power, and we'll see going forward with these negotiations if that's true, if the supply chain squeeze really is going to be a factor in labor negotiations. We see some other companies. Southwest Airlines had a minor strike earlier this month over vaccine mandates for their employees. We look at Bank of America had some positive news about announcements for raising wages, but the strike and union sentiment here is really driven by John Deere and Kellogg, and so it'll be interesting to see going forward how these play out. Whether Kellogg was the second major food staples producer to go on strike within the past few months, the other being Frito-Lay, subsidiary of Pepsi. So we'll see if these kind of industries working in food staples and agricultural supply chain experience similar issues going forward.